Hey, Podcast America. Welcome to episode 20 of the Enlightened Neanderthals. And as always, we're going to start this off talking about Allegiance holsters. You can find them at allegianceholsters.com. They have all of your outside the waistband, inside the waistband, and most importantly, they have prepackaged individual first aid kits, IFAKs. You can get them either with a little belt pouch that goes on your tactical belt, or you can clip it onto, like if you're a backpacker and you want to carry it on the waistband of your backpack. Or if you're just a normal, regular, everyday guy, you should still have 3 or 4 of these scattered around your house. So again, allegianceholsters.com and use checkout code TNW10 when you check out. So episode 20, we had my wife Jennifer in here. It was a really fun conversation. We went over, she's become a pretty serious backcountry mountaineer, and then also she was attacked in our garage about a year and a half ago by a schizophrenic man who had just damn near murdered his own mother and came after her, and she had the good sense to defend herself. So it's a pretty cool story of someone taking action in the heat of the moment and averting what could have been a really bad outcome.
Yeah. More badass women are coming on our podcast, so I think we're making a market shift.
Yeah,
female category listener.
for a podcast that focuses on dude stuff, we've had some pretty awesome girls.
Badass
in here
girls.
Last
Love
handful
it.
of episodes. Yep.
Love it.
All right, you guys, enjoy the episode.
I didn't know fish had loins, to be honest with you. And
I have loins.
I have loins.
The fish of your loins?
Yeah, do they have nipples? Can you milk me? Fucker.
We're live, by the way.
Oh.
Are we really?
But
Of course we are.
yeah, I mean, I that's the best fish I've ever had, and it was just tender and
I should probably stop eating shit.
Mike's eating
Crunching into the microphone.
Jordan talking about fish. It was a good pod.
This is great material.
yeah. Well, we're here with Toby's wife Jennifer.
Yeah, we've got the ball and chain is on the mats tonight. She's giving me the evil eye. Tomorrow we will have been married for 15 years.
Holy shit!
Hey,
Congrats, guys.
Congratulations.
That's
Yeah.
news to me. That's fucking awesome.
So I know the entire story, but Jennifer, where did you grow up?
Tobin. Snoho, Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Born and raised.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, my parents didn't really stray far.
Before life started and you met me, what were you doing?
Pining away.
Yeah.
Mainly thinking about you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I was born and raised Washington. Yeah, my parents just, they like Snohomish County. My grandma lives here. This is where they want to be. So Snohomish High School, it's a good place.
Snohomish High School. Did you go to the freshman campus?
Oh yeah, the freshman campus.
Now it's a water park.
Oh man,
That's a locals only reference.
that is weird.
Did you go to Snohomish High too?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That is weird that it's a water park now. No, the freshman campus was kind of crazy. Like Greg's probably told you, but it was like 2 different middle schools, and then they combine freshman campus. And it was like kind of this like posturing, and like especially with the males, they're just like checking each other out. Are we gonna be cool? Are we gonna be friends? Are we gonna
Bunch
fight?
of adolescent chimpanzees put together on a fucking new cage for the first time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was kind of cool though, because it was, like you said, 2 middle schools coming together, but freshman campus was just that. Even though you're in high school, there was no, seniors, juniors, sophomores. So it's like you're in high school and kind of had like your own clubhouse. You didn't have to share it with other people.
it was kind of awesome. Yeah, and it gave everybody a year to kind of figure it out before they were thrown in.
Yeah.
With the seniors.
Yeah.
Well, so the way Jen and I met is our friend Greg, who most of you probably listened to The Endless Endeavor with Greg Anderson. He and I were in the Army together, and he is also from Snohomish. And so I would come home with him on long weekends to Snohomish. And Jen was a high school friend of his. And so because she knew that all the super handsome Ranger boys were hanging out, she wanted to come hang out.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how she and I met.
Greg was actually on a mission to hook me up with a Ranger buddy, and it just never happened. Like, we tried.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck Greg? or fuck that ranger guy?
Fuck whatever friend that he was trying to hook you up with. Oh, man. All right, but we have a lot to get into. I want to talk about the mountaineering, and then we also have the attack that happened in our garage. Was that a year and a half ago?
Yeah, about a year and a half ago.
Yep, Jen was attacked in our garage in broad daylight, and so that's quite the wild story that we'll have to get into. But let's start with how you got into mountaineering, and that came after our second baby was born, and I will let you kind of take it a little bit.
Yeah, that kind of just happened really slowly. It's sort of, the seed was planted when you and I and a couple friends did Camp Muir back when we were first dating. And I had been a big hiker and I loved that. And I remember we got up to Camp Muir and looking around, I was like, I would never be one of these people up here climbing this mountain. It's dangerous. You know, like we're just hiking up here for the day. But I remember looking around and seeing St. Helens and I was like, I could probably do that one. Like, what's that one all about? Started asking some questions, and Greg was actually going to do it with me. I had 2 permits, and then he hurt his knee. And then I ended up going with some girl I'd only met one time. It's like, hey, do you want to sleep in the back of my car with me? And
I know her.
We'll snuggle, and we'll climb a mountain. She's like, yeah, that sounds kind of awesome. I'm like, I think we just became friends. And we did St. Helens, and then it was like,
who was that?
well, now what can we do? That was Marie.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'd met one time, and I knew she liked to hike. And when Greg got hurt, I didn't want to bail on it. I was like, I still really want to do this, but I couldn't think of anyone who'd want to go with me. And I'd met this girl one time, and I was like, she seems pretty awesome, and she likes to hike. I mean, I'm just going to ask her. So I did. I sent her a message, and I was like, hey, got these permits. What do you think?
What year was this?
This was probably...
It was after Lando was born, so it was probably 2016.
I was going to say 2017.
Okay.
So pretty close, yeah. And, yeah, she was down. She was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. So we didn't know what we were doing. We're, like, Googling videos on how to glissade. And, like, I'm like, Greg, can I borrow your ice axe? I don't even know if I need it, but I'll carry it because it'll look cool.
Yeah.
And then I'm, like, watching the videos. I was like, I totally need it because I want to glissade. And that's how I'm going to break. And I'm going to be an expert here. And we didn't know what we were doing. We're like, we've got a map. It'll be fine.
Is glissading the sliding down on your butt?
It's butt sliding. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a cooler way of saying butt sliding. Yeah.
It's like sledding, but for professionals.
It's kind of awesome. It's like one of those great joys as an adult. Like you don't get to be a kid very often. And if you're in a mountain, you see a glissade track, you're like, ooh, I'm going to sit down and slide down that. It's so fun.
And then what, you just drag the ice axe to control your speed?
Yeah, I mean, if like there was a little glissade track up on Del Campo last weekend, I didn't need an ice axe. Like you're just going to slow down. It's slushy. But if you're on a mountain and it's a big track, you don't want to get out of control because typically there's rocks at the end. It's not going to end well. So it's kind of it's your braking system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was Mount St. Helens.
So that was Mount St. Helens, and after that, I was like, well, that's probably it. Like I didn't really think about it, but I just kept hiking, and someone was doing Mount Baker, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to go with a guide. It's like X amount of dollars, and you'll probably be fine. And I was like, okay, let's do that. So we did Baker late season. So I didn't really know what I was getting into. And when you're in September on Baker, it's just, you're like hopping over cracks the whole time. And in my mind going into it, I'm like, okay, like there might be a couple crevasses. We'll just like walk around them and just don't fall in a crevasse and die. That's my like newbie, I know nothing mountaineering brain, right? It's going to be fine.
What kind of like distances are these hikes?
So
I mean, because you've passed the point of a hike, right? Now you're like literally climbing. Like,
anything with a crevasse is past the point of
That's
a hike.
what I'm
I would
saying.
say,
Anything
yeah.
where you bring an ice axe. We're
Yeah.
no longer
Yeah.
hiking.
that's
yeah.
what I mean. Like,
well, and it's funny because a lot of times people will be like, oh, how many miles was that? And I'm like, irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like, how much elevation gain per mile?
yeah,
Let's talk
yeah.
about that.
Well, even like just distance to get to that point. Right?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like,
yeah. And you've got a heavy pack on. So Baker, it was like heavy pack to camp, and then going up from there.
Do you
So
know
Yeah,
the
so there's, like-
miles to camp?
not off the top of my
Yeah.
head.
So this
no.
is like approach hiking where
Yeah.
you gotta wear a different set of clothes or shoes or your boots rather, right? And then you're changing to get into like those kind of
Now I do
distances? Is that
that,
what you're at?
but this was my first time, and I wore my mountaineering boots the whole time.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Now I'm like, I'm going to wear trail runners until I have to take my trail runners off, and
Uh-huh.
then I'll put my mountaineering boots on, and I will carry them. But on Baker, I didn't know that, so I was like just wearing my mountaineering boots the whole time.
Yeah, just
which
stiff
sucks.
as all hell.
Oh, it sucks
Yeah.
so bad.
That's awesome.
It just totally sucks. So
Live and learn, huh?
yeah, live and learn. I'm learning. Yeah, you learn a lot every time you learn something. You're like, okay, this gear didn't need that. This gear need that next time. So yeah, every time you get a little bit smarter.
Do you find yourself like looking more and more into gear and just like, oh, that'd be cool to get? Like I'm a gear nerd.
I
so,
did in the beginning, and now I'm kind of set.
Yeah.
She has
Yeah.
two of everything.
Yeah,
She's
no.
good.
Now Toby gives me the side eye. If we get a package from REI, he's like, "What the hell is that? You definitely don't need that." There was a while there where he's like, "Why are the backpacks having babies?" I'm like, "Why did the mountain bikes have babies?"
They didn't.
Oh, they did.
N+1.
We have a lot of mountain bikes.
No, I have two. You all have a lot of mountain bikes.
You see what happens here? So we just
15 years, y'all.
15 years, 15 years, right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, that's something that I've always like wondered about as far as gear goes. Like when you get into, like the approach hiking, like how that works for like, do you have a pack and all that stuff? You hike up to a camp and then you dump all the shit that you're not going to need for like the ascent.
So I just spent a lot of money right away. So shout out Hyperlight packs, and I bought a big Hyperlight pack, and I'm like, I take all my shit out and I just roll it down and I just roll with that. So I don't have two backpacks.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's the way those packs are designed is you can empty all your shit out, set up camp, take it all out, and then they just kind of like roll down on the top, and you can use them for your summit as well. So you don't have to have a summit pack.
And they're made out of like that almost see-through material. They're super like
It's really crinkly. Like you
Yeah.
couldn't use
Yeah.
it for hunting because it's
They're kind
really
of awesome.
noisy.
yeah, but they're super light. Like
Super light.
It's a 1 pound pack.
I can't remember what the material is called that they
Yeah,
make
I
those out
can't
of.
either.
It's
I
like
wish
a
I could.
plasticky. It's almost like a tarp.
Yeah, but well, they
And
make
you're right,
tarps and
it's
tents,
almost
and they're
translucent.
super expensive.
Are they?
Yeah,
Okay.
because that material is like a super technical, lightweight, strong material.
Yeah, and I don't have a pack by Hyperlight. I actually have a big Agnes tent, and it's kind of the same idea. It's Hyperlight. And I think the reason I have a big Agnes tent is because that's what I borrowed from Greg when I did Baker. And I was like, I love this tent. So then I just ended up buying one of those. But they're also same idea, like super light. I'm all for spending a little more money if you can.
Oh, yeah.
And then, yeah, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, do you always want to try and go lightweight versus like at what point do you like make the distinction between like, okay, I'd rather spend a little bit more, I guess, expense and weight? Because I mean, there's like a tipping point of like,
Yeah.
I can get really expensive, super lightweight, and super expensive, or it's like, I want something a little more durable, might be a little heavier, and maybe a little bit less expensive. Like, is there like or do you just like, I want that Gucci shit and I'm gonna get it?
I went for the Gucci shit. Like,
Yeah.
quite frankly, the Hyperlight is the Gucci shit.
Yeah, fuck
like
yeah, it is.
it's about as expensive as it gets, and it's as light as it gets. And yeah,
Buy once, cry once.
no,
kinda.
like no regrets. Like absolutely no regrets. It's worked out pretty well.
Do you have like trekking poles and stuff you bring too, or is it?
So
like,
I really
no?
embraced the one pole method. Like I just have one pole because a lot of times when you're like on a mountain and you're doing glacier travel, like you have an ice axe in one hand anyway. And so then maybe you have a pole in the other hand. And so now when I do any mountain, and also one of my buddies lost my other pole. So now I'm just like rocking the one.
Bastard.
I don't know. I'm like bastard. Freaking go get my pole. I don't care if it's sketchy. Go get my freaking pole.
How do you lose it? Sketchy.
Yeah, just over some sketchy scrambling and just lost my freaking pole.
But didn't buy another one.
Didn't buy another one. Rude.
Really?
It's okay. They're cheap ass
No,
poles.
it's not.
Right.
It was expensive.
No, they're cheap ass poles. So I do cut corners on the poles.
Okay.
But I don't know. Like I've been rocking the same one pole method for a while, and it's working out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it like hiking around with an ice axe? You just feel like a fucking killer.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a badass
Braveheart.
dude.
Yeah. I don't need bear mace because I can murder you with my ice
Just gonna
axe.
say, I think if I had an ice axe, there's no chance I would put it on my pack. I'd just want to have it in my hand the whole time,
Yeah, be playing
swinging
with
it
it.
around.
Yeah, tossing it up in the air.
At the ranger station.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Well, it was funny because it was like that first St. Helens hike. Marie and I were both like, "We have ice axes. We're so awesome."
By the
And
end,
like,
like, fuck this thing.
well, no, honestly, not actually. We loved that thing. It was like, this is awesome. We're badass, but we didn't really know what to do with it.
Yeah.
You know, and now I know what to do with it. But
Doesn't
at the
stop
time,
me
we're
from
like, this
swinging a
just looks
machete around in the
cool.
backyard.
yeah.
Yeah.
So how many mountains have you climbed now?
So I've climbed all 5 Washington volcanoes, which felt pretty cool. And then we did Mount Hood last month, unguided, just 2 chicks climbing Mount Hood. So that felt pretty cool.
Yeah.
And gonna
2
go
chicks, 1 tent.
2 chicks, 1 Forerunner,
Oh.
actually. Yeah, the Forerunner is clutch, the car-to-car action, no tent. Just do it all in one
Note
day.
to self: get a Forerunner.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us.
You have a Forerunner, dumbass. I just keep sleeping with girls in it. You know, you can come in anytime.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. All right. I heard an invitation. Tell us about Mount Rainier.
Mount Rainier, so I never thought I would do it. I was like, that's for real mountaineers. That's scary. I don't want to die. I've got kids.
Yeah.
Um,
And there's, to preface it, there's real crevasses up there, and
yeah, it's not like an irrational fear.
Yeah, and several people die up there every year, and their
Yeah.
bodies have to be
Yeah,
evacuated.
It's not an irrational fear, but what happened was we did Baker, and the guide Ryan, who's I've stayed in contact with, a good friend. If you ever want to do Baker, Northwest Alpine Guides, they're awesome. But we got done, and this was my first experience on a rope team, and there was 5 of us, so there's 4 of us plus the guide, and there were 2 other rope teams. Neither one of the other 2 rope teams made it. And we just like hauled ass up, hauled ass down. I was the only girl on the rope, and we were all the same speed. And I was like, that was awesome. But I had nothing to compare it to. Like, I didn't understand like how annoying it would be if you were on a rope with people that were all different speeds. Yeah. We were somehow all synchronized. We flew up, we flew down, and then Ryan, the guide, was like so happy. He's like so proud of us. And he's like, we just crushed that. That was awesome, And I'm like, cool. Yeah, that was awesome. But again, I have no frame of reference. And so then he's like, what's next? And I'm like, I don't know.
Go home, eat.
I was like, this is about as scary as it's probably going to get for me. I'm like, I couldn't do Rainier. And he looks at me and he's like, you could do Rainier right now. And I was like, what? I could do Rainier right now? He's like, we just went up that so fast and came back down. He's like, you could do Rainier. So then the wheels started turning. And I was like,
the seed is planted.
the seed is planted, but that I'm also still like fear. I was like, yeah, Ryan, but people die. I don't want to die. I'm a mom. I can't do that. He's like, but a lot of people don't die. And if you went with me and you went with a guide and we knew what we were doing, I was like, So again, the wheels are turning.
Yeah.
And so it didn't take long to where I was like, yeah, so that spot you said you could get me when you're guiding Rainier next year, I want that. So that was a big deal. That was pretty cool. That felt good.
Rainier was 2020, 2019?
It was either 2020 or 2021 because it was still like, are
Feels
we
fairly recent.
are we going to go with people who are weird about the pandemic? Because we're like, we're fucking climbing a mountain. Like, I'm not wearing a mask. Like, this is not.
If you had a mask
This
at
is
the top
stupid.
of a mountain,
Was
be
there
like,
someone
that's-
up there with one? I'm sure there was.
I'm sure there was. Yeah. No,
They're
I'm
like,
sure there
COVID's
was.
up here.
Yeah, you're going to get the COVID. I'm like, if you're climbing Rainier, you're probably going to live. It's fine.
So Rainier is what? 2 days? 1 day to climb to base and then 1 day to summit?
So crazy people do it car to car. I mean, you can.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
the
it's
day
not
we
unheard of.
hiked
but-
up to Camp Muir all those years ago, there was some guy who went car summit back to his car in about the same amount of time. We went to Camp Muir, hung out for a few minutes, and then came back down.
Yeah. My biggest thing was I didn't know how I'd do with altitude. So
Yeah.
I had done Adams, and that was like, okay, let me see how I do with altitude. And that was 12 something. And I was fine. And so I'm like, okay, I can go over 10. I'm fine. I go to 12. I'm fine. But you still, like, you just don't know. And so my biggest thing was altitude. So it was kind of nice. It was unseasonably warm. This was what, last summer or the summer before? I guess this was the summer before last.
2 summers ago.
Yeah, because I did Glacier Peak last summer, and that was my 5th volcano. So it was 2 years ago, and then we had that unseasonably hot weather. And they were like, yeah, we have to leave at 11 p.m. So you're like, cool, not sleeping at all, because I'm not going to be able to.
So let's back up. Are you leaving 11 p.m. from the parking lot at Paradise?
No, sorry, from Camp Muir. So we had hiked up during the day to Camp Muir, and
which that alone is that a 5,000 foot? Or sorry, what's the elevation gain from Paradise to Camp Muir? Because that is a steep hike.
Yeah, no, it's no joke. I'd have to look it up, but it's like I think it might be slightly less than 5.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's a gnarly.
That's good.
It's a big day
it's a
in
steep
itself.
pitch.
Stevens Pass.
Well, and when you're
is
carrying
what,
all your
3,
shit
5,
up too, like
3?
you're carrying the big heavy packs
pack.
with the sleeping bags and the tents.
Yeah.
Is Paradise the one that has the like the parking lot?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got like a nice lodge.
Okay.
Yeah. We actually had like a nice dinner the night before. So we go up there and they're like, yeah, it's going to be pretty hot. And I'm used to the Alpine Star. Like I'm used to the concept where we don't sleep much and we get up early. The snow's going to get warm. Conditions are going to not be as great. But they're like, yeah, it's like really hot. So 11 p.m. it is. So we didn't sleep. So I think by the time I'd summited and we came back down, I'd been up for 40 hours. I was super loopy. Super loopy. Like
it's the way you want to be on a mountain.
yeah, one glass of wine to celebrate when we came down. I was crying in the park. not crying emotionally, crying because I was laughing so hard.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
I forgot the question. There was a question in there somewhere.
Okay, so you went from Paradise up to Camp Muir the first day. Then you have an 11 p.m. start, basically
Yes.
the same day.
Yes, so no sleep really for anyone.
What time did you guys summit?
I want to say like around 8 o'clock in the morning or something. Like it was super early.
Yeah, but so that's a 9-hour
through the night
trek through the night.
Yeah. Most of it was in the dark. Sunrise happened. I think we were at around 13,000 feet when sunrise happened, and that was like mind-blowing, glorious.
Yeah, I'll bet.
So amazing.
Your question.
Yes.
Headlamps.
What
Are
about
you?
'em?
Are you? What kind of headlamp are you? Like just a Petzl kind of a setup, or you got like some special headlamp that you like, or
So I got sold on the rechargeable ones just because, like, well, I mean, it makes sense for multiple reasons, but like, your battery's never going to be dead if you just charge it the night before. And
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I've got it's Black Diamond.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if there
rechargeable
was
one.
like okay.
Yeah.
Because some people get kind of gear queer on.
Yeah, I don't think I'm that like stuck on gear. I mean, I think
Sorry, I am. I'm
No, I know. I
just like,
sense that about you, but no, I mean, I think I bought like pretty nice gear to start, and when it wears out, I'll replace it. Like, I mean, to be fair, my hyperlight packs are looking pretty rough. They're not looking very picturesque.
Just fine. Trust me, they're dirty.
Yeah, well, they're kind of shredded too. Like I know. Toby's like, don't you dare buy another backpack.
Hey, I get it.
I actually have a follow-up gear question.
When I need gear, I'm gonna talk to Jordan. He'll be like, buy it, do it.
Camp Muir is at like 10,500 feet, right?
It's a 10,000, yeah.
What stove did you guys use?
Oh, good question. Was it red?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I don't care
Is it
about
in a
the
little
stove.
black bag?
Yeah, probably.
Well, it matters because like at certain elevations, you have like you get canister stoves that won't work. So then you have these like the red fuel canisters or whatever, and like you can plug that in, and it's like white gas or.
Yeah, I don't think we were that crazy. Remember, it was unseasonably warm.
Did you boil water for coffee, or did you just eat dry food and water and move on?
So we boiled water just to filter snow, but I don't remember drinking coffee in the morning because it was 11 p.m. Like, no one has time.
It wasn't the morning.
No one has time.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Gonna have a cocktail and head out.
Glass
To
of
each
wine.
their own, but I was just like, I don't even want to eat anything. Let's just go.
What do you normally eat when you go? Do you take like Mountain House dehydrated food meals, or you try and
Oh no, they go
like peanut
they
butter
go
and tortilla
fucking
lady?
Gucci.
No,
Okay.
no.
Well, it
'cause-
depends on what we're doing. So now that we've done St. Helens a couple times, now we get freaking retarded. Like we will carry filet mignon up there and crab legs. Like I'll be making old fashions. Like
I have never seen a more delicious spread on a mountain than your Instagram.
Yeah.
and you had like a full fucking charcuterie board.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we get
That was
stupid.
like-
We're like, how stupid can
Have
we
you
make
seen
this?
that picture?
So
And
what-
they're like in snow, and there's this like charcuterie board that's out there, and it's like, what the how the hell?
A couple of cocktails.
Yeah, it
Well,
was-
and so that's the like irony. I'm like, let's buy the hyper light pack so that we can carry
A fifth of tequila
Like,
and some glasses.
15 pounds of
some
steak,
olives.
8 pounds of
Yeah.
cinnamon rolls.
I
Like-
get
How
it.
do you cook it up
I'm
there?
with you.
So usually we cook it ahead of time, then we just like reheat it.
Reheat it?
Yeah.
Like you use a little MSR stove and a little shallow pan and
Yeah.
just kind of heat it
Yeah,
up.
just kind of heat it up. Yeah.
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 No, I've
You're
ne-
bougie.
We're super bougie. Side note, pocket bacon.
Pocket.
Yeah, we had pocket bacon on
Pocket bacon.
Glacier
You're
Peak.
talking my
That's a great
language.
call.
Pocket bacon. You pull out, you're running low on steam. You're like not quite there yet. Pocket bacon.
Your
You pull-
body's heating it up.
Yeah, you pull that out, the pocket bacon. I mean,
So
it's
is
got-
this
it's got all your salt?
Pre-cooked bacon
Yeah.
or oh.
Yeah, no, I'm
I
not.
thought you meant like it warms up in
No,
your
no,
pocket
no.
from friction.
Nobody
Take raw
has time
bacon.
for that, Mike.
And you line your grundle with it.
Jesus.
And that way, as you're walking, it's soaking up flavor and warming up.
Pocket
And
bacon.
You just
Pocket
you
bacon.
reach all the way down in there and pull out that strip.
It's
Of
I'm
like
not
some
eating your
Attila the
pocket
Hun
bacon.
shit.
No.
Also prevents monkey butt.
Oh shit.
Pocket bacon.
Well, it's the grease
Pocket
that keeps
bacon. I'm
you.
telling you.
Keeps it lubed up.
So yeah, no, I think I actually eat pretty healthy on mountains. It's funny because I'll go with people and they'll be like, here's all my junk food. And I'm like, I don't really want junk food. We have to do like 5,000 feet of elevation. I want real food.
See,
So-
I'm the opposite.
Yeah, no, that's
like
fine.
when it's hiking
a lot
time,
of my friends
it's
are.
Baby Ruth and
Yeah,
Kit Kat.
no, a lot of my
and,
friends are, but I'm like, that doesn't fuel me. That's like not what I want. I mean, no judgment. but
Yeah,
I did get my life saved by gummy worms once. So
yeah.
There you go.
yeah. I
Have
mean,
you had any like the elevation sickness and stuff going on up there?
You know, I haven't. I've been really lucky. Like, I think no one is feeling good over like, we hit like that 13,500 foot like rest mark on Rainier. Like, no one's feeling good. You're not like,
I thrive.
I'm
up here.
awesome. Yeah, you're not like, I'm gonna run up the rest of this. Like, you're slowed down for sure. But like, I don't.
You're not hanging out with a guy named Ami Sherpa or anything like that?
No,
up
like
there?
one of the people on our rope threw up, but it was just like they were fine. We didn't have to go back down. They're like, throw up and rally, let's go. Like, I think that's not completely uncommon. You know, a lot of people get headaches, so
What do you? Is there like a medical thing you guys do for that? Or is it just like, hey,
you just gotta
chill?
go back down.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Just like,
no,
hey,
you're kind of fucked. Like if
go back
someone
down.
truly gets altitude sickness, like you just got to go back down.
Is there signs or symptoms
Oh,
for
yeah.
it, or what?
Yeah.
What would
No.
those be?
My friend Kristen, so I've done a lot of like hikes with her, climbs with her. Like we just did Hood, we did Glacier Peak last year. She has done so much and she still hadn't gotten Rainier until last weekend. And it was because she had tried twice. She'd gotten permits twice. 2 times she had went with someone who got altitude sickness, and like, what are you going to do? You can't be an asshole. You got to take care of them. You got to take them back down. So super
You
disappointing.
don't just tell them to butt slide.
Yeah,
their
you
ass
don't
back
just
to the
tell them to
parking lot?
glissade back down. Good luck. So like she'd gotten shut down a couple times, but yeah, that's all you can do. You just gotta go back down.
I've
You
never gotten.
gotta take care of them if they're at that point where they're
Yeah. it's
if
part of the
they're like
group and-
confused and like disoriented, like I don't know
Sounds
the
like
one.
me in the parking lot.
Well, like the one person that threw up on our rope like was pretty experienced, and so they threw up and they're like, I'm fine, and like we knew them well enough to be like, okay, they're fine, but if I was with someone less experienced and they were throwing up and they were not fine, you just got to go back down.
When you go from high elevations to lower, do you ever get sinus pressure or headaches, or does it take a little bit to? You never get ear, nose, and throat stuff coming down from high elevations to low?
I personally don't. Like, I think I'm pretty lucky. I mean, it definitely gets harder when you're higher.
Yeah.
But no, I've been pretty lucky. Like, I always wonder, I'm like, is my turn coming? Like, is it just going to hit me someday? But
No.
so far so good. Yeah.
I experienced that one time of like elevation's a real thing.
Yeah.
I think we were in Maui, and there's a volcano. I can't remember what that volcano's name is, but you can drive damn near to the top of it. So we went from.
Is that Mauna Loa or is that the one on the Big Island?
I honestly have no clue. Somebody with a map could tell me, but I don't know. But you drive from sea level all the way up to the top of this volcano, and then we went to go take pictures, and there was some stairs, and I was in good shape. This was like 3 years out of like college wrestling. Like I was in pretty good shape, and I went to go run up these stairs, and it was maybe 30 steps.
You got humbled as fuck.
Oh, I was like, no, I got to the top, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong? And then I was like, because I thought, like, I didn't even think about, we're higher elevation. I was just like, there's a problem here. And
Did I get drunk this morning?
Yeah,
There's a problem.
Am I gonna die? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then realize like, we're like 13,000 foot up, like from the sea level.
Yeah, no,
in
it's no joke.
45 minutes, and now I'm,
I've had altitude sickness at like 11,000 feet.
Yeah, it can strike anytime.
Yeah, it sucked. Trying to think. This was in the Hindu Kush in Afghanistan, and we'd been pushing the speed going uphill because we were trying to intercept some Al-Qaeda fighters who had been picked up crossing the border from Pakistan into Afghanistan, and so we were on like an intercept course with them, like climbing as fast as we could, and everybody was starting to run out of gas. We went from 5,000 feet at the valley floor to, I think we hit snow at like 12,000 feet, and we're starting to pothole through the snow and realized that we were on a fool's errand. But somewhere around 11,000, 11,500, I started having like the dry heaves and nothing. I could, like, a little bit of vertigo kind of, and I was like, man, I don't, it sucks because especially in the Ranger Battalion, you're supposed to never quit no matter what.
Yeah, what do you do in the military in that situation?
Yeah. Yeah, but I think everybody on the patrol was having a difficult time, so it was kind of like, all right, we've sort of hit our limit here. This no longer makes sense. And then we hit the snow, and it was like, all right, now we can't walk anymore. So, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail that. What is the summit of Mount Rainier? What's the elevation?
14,411, I believe.
Oh, it is 14K.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking it was high 13s.
No.
Yeah, so that's significant, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so how long do you guys stop on the summit? Is it literally like get there, snap a photo, and like, all right, we gotta chop.
Yeah,
and
that
get
is
there?
a
So
good,
it was
that is a good question.
it was kind of funny because doing it guided, like Ryan's kind of like, you guys got to go back down. So it was kind of funny. We got up there. You get up there, and you don't realize it's a giant freaking crater. So you're like walking across this crater, and most people, at least me, growing up here,
Yeah,
I never really realized like there's a big ass crater on Rainier. So you walk across this crater, and then you sign the register, the summit register, and then everybody's taking their photo ops. And my friend Eric and I, who did it together, we're like, well, this isn't the true summit. And like some people are fine with that, but we're like, oh hell no, we got to walk to the true summit. So
Yeah,
the
you
true
come this
summit,
far.
yeah, we came this far. So the true summit's just, it's a little bit further. And like Ryan's like, okay, you guys got to hurry though. We're like, yeah, we'll hurry. We'll be right back. So only 2 other people that we were up there with, all 3 of our rope teams made it, which they said was unusual. They're like, us guides, normally we got to turn around with someone, but everybody made it, which was cool. So it was like Eric and I and 2 other dudes are like, no, we're going to True Summit. Like we have to stand there. We made it this far. I already forgot the question. God dang it.
I said, how long did you guys hang out
Oh,
up there?
right.
Is it
Okay.
snap a
So anyway,
picture
he did not want us to really like, I think part of their guiding thing is like they want to be out of there by like a certain time, right? And they're getting paid to be there. I get it.
Yeah.
But had we not done it guided, I think we would have hung out a little bit longer. But again, we were up there at that unseasonably hot weather. So when we started coming down, I was roasting. I was stuffing snow down my sports bra. I was stuffing snow under my hat. But the snow is so intense that you can't really take layers off. And I don't think it would matter if you
Yeah,
had.
sunburn.
Yeah, like we're just like cooking. So.
We have a friend, Christy, who got pretty burnt on a hike.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
let's hear about that.
Yeah, let's hear about that. Okay, for starters.
No, hang on. We'll get there.
Yeah.
So is that's like 30 minutes then maybe at the top or less
Probably.
than that?
Yeah. No, probably about 30 minutes. Yeah, that was about enough time to like pee, have a snack, sign the register, go to True Summit, take some photos. It might have been longer than 30 minutes. I don't honestly know. It all kind of runs together.
Have you taken a flight out of Seattle and flown over Rainier and been like, fuck yeah, I've done that?
Oh, now every time I see it, I'm like, yes.
Yeah. Just when it's a nice day and you see it.
Yeah, it's such a big.
I've been there.
It's such a
Yeah,
big.
I'd be
mountain.
shouting on the plane.
Oh yeah, it's like
I've
such
won
a.
that.
It's such a big presence.
We
you
get on
know?
that
It's
intercom
like,
thing for a
it's
minute.
So it's like larger than life, and it's.
Yeah, I mean, I've growing up here, I see it
Everywhere.
all the time. I look down and it's like,
Yeah.
look at fucking Rainier
No,
right now.
it's-
How wild! Every time I drink a beer, I'm like, oh,
And
holy
you can't,
shit, look at
you
that.
can't,
There it
you
is.
can't explain it. Like when you're up there, like you can't explain how big it is. Like when you're heading out from Camp Muir and you're starting to head up, and you can see headlamps like up way ahead of you. You know, like just the, I don't know, the size of it. Like you can't explain it.
It's kind of like I've spent some time on some mountains. I haven't summited Rainier or anything, but
I once
Just-
drank 26 Rainiers.
that I can believe.
You once drank a Rainier on Rainier.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
But there is something being around. It's kind of like space, looking at space or looking at the ocean, or, you know, these things that'll humble you. Being on top of a mountain like that, where it's just a giant ice field as far as, you know, you can even see almost. And it is a nice reset. And there's something about it, like my wife will kind of, she doesn't give me crap, but it's like, I want to go hunting. I can't wait to go hunting. And she's like, oh, you're just out there hanging out with your friends in the woods. But it's like, no, there's something about being in this environment, and I choose to relax out here. And when you come back, you're like a completely different person. Everything's mellow. Your stresses are diminished. I mean, they'll still be there, but it's a reset for your body and your brain, I feel like. doing those.
100%. Yeah.
We
100%.
talked about that a couple weeks ago, where it's like all you're thinking about is where's my Overwatch position for tonight and tomorrow morning, and what are we eating at midday?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Other than that, you're just thinking about moving to get to your spot.
Spot, looking,
a good
observing,
life.
thinking.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
But it provides a lot of thinking time.
Yeah,
Because, you
that's what
know,
I
when
mean.
it's like you have to put one foot in front of the other for 8 hours sometimes maybe. And it's like, you have to, whatever's kind of going on in your head, it forces you to examine or kind of deal with, just because that's the only thing you have right there is what's in your head. So, I don't know. It's
Well,
medi-
I think
Steak and
I think
eggs.
that
Steak
grind,
and eggs.
like, it's not that super high intensity. It's a grind, right?
Yeah.
You're uncomfortable for a long time, but you're like, you kind of want to disassociate with what's going on with your body a little
Yeah.
bit. So then you get into your own head and you can think through all that stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're doing like a high intensity workout, you got to focus on the task at hand,
Yeah.
you know? So
Yeah, you got to hit that autopilot. And
yeah,
kinda just,
I think it
Yeah.
allows
We
you
used
to
to call that droning in the army.
Yeah, it
where
allows you to think about your shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
You kind of tune out and you just keep walking, and it actually gets to the point where I've slept while walking with a backpack on. I just grabbed a
I
hold
believe
of
that. I've seen you sleep. You can sleep anywhere.
everybody does.
well, it's kind of like driving, you know.
yeah,
Well,
well,
You
highway
sleep when you're
hypnosis,
driving?
yep.
all the time.
I'm going to get a quick 20 before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, you're going down the freeway, and then, like we said,
Yeah.
you got a half hour, and all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, my exit. You know, and
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
I don't
What just
remember. I
happened?
just
Holy
zoned
fuck!
out.
When did we
Totally.
cross the Oregon border?
No,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not wrong. Yeah.
And so, like, I find myself in hikes or just even running or anything like that, where I'll find like a pattern, and all of a sudden, like, I'll just be doing what I'm doing, and it's like a breathing pattern. And I
Yeah.
feel like,
In 2 3, out 2 3, in 2 3, out 2 3. Yeah. Repeat
And then-
for hours.
yeah, and then it's like, oh, I got a fucking beat that I'm fucking going to, and the breath work, and then the the cracking of my knees, or whatever it is, it's I'm beatboxing with my body.
All right. So coming off the summit, is it just fucking miserable walking down after that,
So the weird thing is,
or are you so sort of high on endorphins, like fuck yeah, America, we did it?
it's funny because like a lot of mountains, like the last few miles are just fucking miserable. Like they're the hardest part, right?
Yeah.
Just you got to put one foot in front of the other. Everything feels broken. You're exhausted. You want your freaking cheeseburger. Like, let's get out of here. Rainier was weird. I literally ran down and I was like, I know I'm doing this guided, but Ryan, I'm just like, I'm out. I got to go. I didn't want to walk down slow. I was just like, I can plunge step down this thing.
This
and
is
like,
after you got back to Camp Muir.
Yeah, I was.
roped
I
up.
was just like, no, you're not roped up at that point.
No,
I'm
you
just,
stayed roped up back
you
to
stayed
Camp
roped
Muir?
up back to Camp Muir. Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. Yeah. But I was just like high, you know. And if it had been a rocky asshole trail, then obviously I couldn't have done that. But when you're in snow and you can plunge step, like it's easy on the knees, and I'm just like so elated from everything we just accomplished, and I'm like, I just want to go. Like, this is amazing, you know, just high. So I've never ran down a mountain like that after doing something that intense, but just nothing hurt, you know. And that's actually like a big like benefit of snow too, like glacier travel
Less
and doing
impact.
snowy mountains. Yeah, like your knees are not cranky the way they are after, you know, you could do a really intense hike on a rocky trail and you're going to be so much more beat up than after doing like a snowy peak if you're just cushioned.
Yeah. Do you said when you're heading back, all you're thinking about is that cheeseburger
Food.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of traditions for post, like for meal? Like, I mean, you get done with something like that. For me, it's always like beer and pizza.
Yeah.
You want French fries.
Yeah.
You want carbs. You know.
Yeah.
burger.
My favorite thing is I like to have a cooler in the car with ice that will be intact, and I want like an iced latte immediately.
Okay.
Then I'll drink my alcohol drink.
Yeah.
But I just want that iced latte
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
And then typically we'll have something cold to drink in the car, you know, otherwise, but Mexican food. I want Mexican food.
yeah.
I want salty chips. I want spicy salsa.
Yeah.
I want that margarita. Mexican food.
Even after skiing, there's nothing better than hitting La Hacienda
it's so
on the way
good.
back from the mountain.
Oh, yeah.
Oof, man.
Yeah, we've barely
up a
made
highway
the
too
cutoff a
there.
couple times.
Oh, they,
you know the one.
Oh, they know my number. They got my number. Yeah.
So good. So good.
All right, so now tell us about the time you burned Christy's face off.
Oh, Jesus. I didn't, like,
We heard
we've
that.
been married for 15 years, and this one over here is like, this is a failure in leadership. I'm like, listen here, Sergeant Foulke.
Well, listen, when you're-
Fucking Sergeant Foulke, this is a failure in leadership. Roar.
when you are the experienced person, it is incumbent upon you to share that experience with your
Yeah,
friends. Who
I
you're
said
taking
put on
with you.
sunscreen. They didn't.
They certainly did not.
Yeah, no, they did not at all. So, no, it was a learning experience for me, too. Like, obviously, I'm going to be the sunscreen Nazi next time and, like, make sure, like, I'm going to annoy the shit out of everyone. Like, did you reapply? Did you put your sunscreen on? Like, I'm going to be obnoxious about it completely. So.
And to be fair, later at the river, she's going to be hounding the boys about sunscreen. I'm going to be going, shut
Yeah,
up, leave
I
them
know.
alone.
To be fair, I'm like trying not to be overly anxious and like annoy people.
Well, they talk about like snow blindness, right? And like,
Yeah.
like you see those people with like the super cool sunglasses
big
that they
glacier
wear.
goggles,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like,
Yeah. No, it's
have you ever experienced any of that where it's just like, holy shit, this is
no, it gets bright as fuck for
burning
sure.
your retina.
Yeah. No, I think I knew from the beginning just to be really careful with sun. Just because even when we did Camp Muir, I think Brian told us, he was like, shove sunscreen up your noses, like get it everywhere.
Yes.
And so I think just from that point on, I was like, okay, sunscreen is a thing, and just gonna. I don't burn super easily though, so I honestly don't reapply. I don't even think I reapplied on Rainier. Like I can just.
You just bronze up there.
I
you don't-
bronze.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of you guys are pretty fucking.
we're pretty
Yeah,
bronzy.
you're very olivey.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, I feel bad about it. I feel super bad about it. Like, shut up, Jordan. I gave you whiskey. You need to behave. Yeah. Podcast America. Toby said Jordan can't get too drunk, so Jen brought whiskey.
And well, guess what, guys?
guess what? He's a little pink. He's a little
I think
pink
that's
over there.
more due to the morning roll and the.
Oh my
Did you get in the sauna?
I didn't get in the sauna. You know, I'm worried about the infection.
Oh yeah.
Care to elaborate?
Nope.
Okay.
what was her name?
Yeah. Well,
Jesus. No, but like honestly, that was a good learning experience for me because we had 12 people with us on St. Helens, and it's a great like beginner. I want to do something big. I want to challenge myself. Like this might be the only mountain someone does, but they want to
Sorry,
climb a
did
mountain.
you just open a beer with an iPhone?
I did, yes.
That's a fucking expensive. I can only imagine if you crack the case.
Dude,
Sorry.
there's an app for that.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Jen. Sorry.
Next time with your teeth.
Yeah, that's even more expensive.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Trust me, I know.
New crown.
Okay, all right.
Uh-huh.
Learning
So,
experience,
Since
14 people.
no one can see that, he just showed me a gap, and he's missing a tooth.
Yeah.
Oh, there it
Literally,
is.
literally missing a
The old,
tooth.
the old bottle opener.
Okay, so anyway, we had 12 people, and out of the 12 of us, 2 of us had done it in the winter before. One other guy had done it in the summer, and then everyone else was just like a newbie. So, you know, it was kind of a learning experience. We had 3 walkie-talkies, and we're like, we've got 3 paces. So we're going to have like 1 walkie-talkie out in front, 1 walkie-talkie for the middle people, and 1 walkie-talkie for anyone bringing it up in the rear. We can stay in contact, make sure everyone's accounted for, no one gets lost. So for me, when I was talking over the walkie, it was more like, you can do it. Don't stop. Like, where are you guys at? Like, keep going. It wasn't like, put on your
Shut
fucking
up, I'm back here
sunscreen.
sucking.
Well, yeah, I wasn't like, put on your fucking sunscreen or your sunglasses on. Like, that wasn't like a thought for me. You know, I was more like, don't.
Motivation.
Yeah, it
Don't
was
stop.
more like, don't quit. You know, I wasn't like, hey, what's going on with like your sunscreen situation? But it's a good reminder that just like if someone hasn't done that before, I'm going to harp on it more next time for sure. I felt awful.
Well, I mean, it's again, it's not something you're thinking of. You're thinking of like, let's get them to the top,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I knew they had goals.
which is fair.
Yeah, I knew they had goals. I knew how disappointed they'd be if they didn't make it. And so I was just like, we got to get them up here, you know? And my friend Dave was up there, and he's so awesome. He's just like, he's kind of like a Robin Williams type where he's just
Hairy
like,
as fuck. He didn't need sunscreen.
no,
Oh.
no.
Oh my God, sun rays. Ooh, what am I gonna do?
Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like, he works out a lot. He's like super into it. And I think it's, you know, it's what he does for his mental health. But he's also everyone's like biggest cheerleader. He's just a cool guy. He's in his 50s. And I was just like, Dave, you need to climb a mountain. And so this was 2 years ago. I'm like, you need to climb a mountain. He's like, I'm smiling so big right now. I'm so happy, you know? And so we had permits for St. Helens the previous year. And then the first time we were supposed to go, there was crazy, like 40 mile per hour winds maybe. And I hated to tell Dave that. He was so excited. I'm like, we can't do it. You know, he's crushed. I'm like, okay, let me see. All the permits are sold out for the weekends. Can you get a weekday off? If I can find like a random Monday, I'll go climb this mountain with you, right? So then we find like the random Monday. We get a few permits. We're going to go. He gets freaking COVID. So anyway, his hopes were dashed last year. And so fast forward to this year, he is trying to make it up. And it's just like, I know how much it means. And I was so proud of him because he was like bringing up the rear. We didn't know what happened to Dave. Christy had made it up. Logan was right behind her. That's her 14-year-old son. And so I'm like, I can't stand it anymore. I got to go down and get Dave. I might not see you guys again at the top because depending on how far down he is, I'm not going to turn around and come back up. And so Christy's like, you tell Logan he keeps going no matter what. And so I go down a little ways. I see Logan. Like, your mom says you better not stop. He's like, hell yeah, I'm not freaking stopping. I'm like, awesome. So then I know he's good. And so I go down like one false summit, no Dave. One false summit, no Dave. Like, oh shit. You know? And so then I'm like, I see Dave coming up and he's like, Jen? Like, yes. So he had like rolled his ankle and he's like, I just stopped, took a Vicodin. I think my ankle's better.
He is like Robin Williams.
Yeah, no, he's just like, but he's kind of doing this thing in his head where he's like, he's like, I don't want you guys waiting for me. Nobody's waiting for me. And I'm like, Dave, I will drink whiskey in the parking lot literally all night. If it takes you all night, if you can make it and you think your ankle's good, I will be there waiting for you. I don't care. And he just gets this big smile and he's just like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go, you know? And so it was super cool. I gave him my walkie. I radioed up to Eric and the rest of our group. And I'm just like, Dave's going to take the last walkie. Like, he's going to do this. I'm like, I don't care if I'm here all day long, you know? Mm-hmm. And it was so awesome because when he finally came back down to the parking lot, like, he had made it, you know? He had made it to the top. It was 2 years in the making. It was so cool. And
That's awesome.
it was just awesome.
So he was pumped.
He was super pumped. And then he like kind of had like a tear slide down his eye because he's just like, I knew Jen would be here, but I didn't think the rest of you would wait for me because like everybody waited. Yeah. I'm like, hell yeah, they're going to wait. Like they're going to go back up and get you with me. Like I'm not letting them leave. Yep. But no, they waited because they wanted to. And it was pretty cool. Yeah. And so it was awesome. Everybody summited. Christy summited. 14-year-old Logan summited. Like even though he didn't know what he was getting himself into. And it was pretty cool. So we had a couple people burn as fuck, and we'll do better next time. But all in all, everybody made it. It was good.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Well, so we talk about Rainier a lot because it's the tallest one, so it's like the crown jewel. Which has been your most difficult?
Ooh, it's funny. I actually in a way, Glacier Peak is kind of harder.
That's the one I expected.
It's such a fucking slog. Yeah, it's such a fucking slog.
Is it just because it's a long approach?
Yeah, and you're
Is it?
What was the approach?
Is that not in the Glacier Peak?
the whole
National?
thing is 30 miles or 30 something miles, but it's just big days. So the first day in, we wanted to go all the way to we wanted to go pretty far the first day, and that was a hard day for me. Heavy pack, ton of elevation gain, and then you got to just get up and do it again the next day, and then you got to go all the way back out, and it was a tough one. It's again, you're not plunge stepping on the way out like you're on a trail.
You're on rocks.
Yeah, so it's
not
aggravating.
Climbing at the end. It's just a long.
Yeah, it's just fucking annoying, and you're like, am I ever going to be out? So that one was mentally challenging to the point where you're like, and some people like to look at their mileage. I don't like to go with people who like to look at their mileage. I'm like, I get in a mindset where I can literally do this all day. I tell myself I'm doing this all day, and then if I get there sooner than dark, I'm happy. I don't even want to know how much further we have to go.
Yeah.
So that's helpful. But yeah, Glacier Peak was a freaking slog.
Do you use your phone as a tracking device, or you use GPS, or?
So Toby got me a Garmin, which has been pretty cool.
Like the InReach, or?
Yeah.
I wanted her to have that SOS
Yeah.
feature where,
Yeah.
granted, help is still 18 hours out
Yeah,
when
it's
you
not
activate.
foolproof.
But it could be a flight.
But,
though.
send a helicopter.
Yeah, no, it's super helpful. I think some people feel overly protected with a Garmin.
Yeah.
Like, I got my Garmin, I'm good.
I'm going to call 911.
Yeah,
They'll be here.
it doesn't work that way,
Like Uber.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
That signal goes to a monitoring office in, I think, Colorado. And from there, they just pick up the phone and start trying to contact your local sheriff's department and state patrol. And from there, then you have to wait for the search and rescue team to get organized, brought together. Or maybe they do try to take the helicopter out. But I think people need to realize that that's not an instant fix. It's definitely a good thing to have with you. But you're also going to have to, do first aid and survive for a long time before search and rescue gets to you.
But you can get messages out, right? Text out?
Yeah, we can text
which
each
is
other when
kinda nice.
she's,
yeah, honestly, one of the biggest features that's been nice about that is sometimes we push it and we do these really big days and it's dark out. We're coming out of the trail at 9:30, pretty late with our headlamps on, and it's really nice for me to be able to text message Toby and just be like, we're almost out, or we're out,
Are the
we're
kids
at the
in
parking
bed?
lot. Yeah, no. What are you wearing? No. Are there tacos?
Tell Lando to quit drinking.
Yeah. But no, that's been nice to have that text feature when I don't have service, just to say hey, I'm alive. But yeah, there was just some gal who was super experienced and she just went missing. She activated her Garmin and I haven't followed back up on it, but I know they weren't able to find her. So I hope they found her now.
Jeez.
But she had been.
That's another good point is if you activate that SOS feature, it's time to stay put.
Well, and I
Because it
think she
transmits
didn't
a
realize. So
coordinate.
hers died. And so so then they're going off of where it last pinged. Yeah, so that's tricky, because if I'm cold and it's snowy, I think my instinct at some point is going to be to move, so I don't freeze to death. I'm probably not going to want to just sit down. But then if you activate it, I don't know.
Do you have again, more gear questions?
Bring it on, Jordan.
Yeah. Do you have an emergency setup of a bivy sack that's the little pizza transport bags that you get in with some hand warmers or anything
Even
like that
like
you
a,
do?
So I have an emergency blanket. I carry way too much shit, honestly. This last hike we went on last weekend, I'm
What
like,
a
God.
woman.
I'm like,
Typical.
No, I'm like, I've got way too much shit. But then you're happy when you have it and things go wrong, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then sometimes I'll have two of something and then my friend inevitably will forget that thing. And I'm like, oh, weird. I've got another one. So I think I carry too much shit. But I don't
that's
I
also
don't have
the
a bivvy
cost.
normally.
So there's they say there's a cost of maybe inexperience or which you're not now and you've done it enough. But to like, so, well, I'm going to carry more stuff than I think I need.
Yeah, and I do.
Because it's important to do that. And
Yeah.
then some people will go, well, I can do it. It's an ego thing, right?
It
some
is
people go,
100% an
I
ego
don't need
thing.
that. I don't need that. I'm not going to
Yeah.
do it. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, shit, I'm in
Yeah.
a sticky situation and I got
And they'll like
fucking-
judge you, like,
Yeah.
why the fuck do you have that? I'm like, well, you know
Just
what? If
in
you fall and
case,
hurt yourself, you'll be
motherfucker.
happy I have
Right?
it. So.
Yeah.
I broke my ankle. I should have brought a fucking
Yeah.
Game Boy while I wait for search and
Yeah, no doubt. Dude. I'm out of battery.
I mean, you're lucky I have these 8 pounds of cinnamon rolls because I'm gonna feed you.
yeah.
I like your buddy that had Vicodin.
No
That's
doubt,
not
dude.
a bad idea. I mean, the amount of times I've twisted, a knee starts to
Does he have
hurt,
a,
an
does he have
ankle
a
goes
line
out.
on that or
Well, no, so
Yeah,
just asking for a friend?
he had hurt his ankle prior to St. Helens, and because he had to cancel twice the previous year, he went anyway. So that's why he had the Vicodin, because he knew his ankle was fucked up and he was going to go anyway. So
without that, he wouldn't have been able to climb it, probably. So drugs.
I don't know. I
won in
believe in
that
the spirit that
situation?
he might have pulled through. He just would have been
Yeah.
a lot more pain. I don't
Yeah,
know. Like
yeah,
in my
yeah.
mind, he was going to make it to the top no matter what. I don't even
Yeah.
fucking care. Like quite frankly, if he had been like, "Will you go back to the top with me?" I probably would have, just to get him back up there. Like in my mind, he was making it.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I agree. The Vicodin was good.
doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt. I mean,
Feels kinda good,
I have
to be
wussy
honest.
ibuprofen. What do I know?
Yeah.
Maybe I need to upgrade my standards. I don't know.
Get some fentanyls and make it halfway
Yeah.
up and start
Yeah.
leaning on the mountain.
What's this shit?
They're cheap and you can find them everywhere.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's call a pee break because I'm over here two-fisting coffee and beer, and
Peanut
we're
butter.
due. So,
More like a poop, right? You know what I mean?
oh, there we go. All right. We shall return.
A situation where like you have all of the whiskeys to try.
Canadian's terrible.
What's that?
When you try them all together, Canadian's the worst.
Oh, Canadians.
I don't
the
like
worst,
Canadian
really?
whiskey at all.
Dude,
Isn't Pendleton Canadian?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Pendleton's
awful.
pretty
Oh, it's
good.
awful.
I love it.
I thought
Oh.
it was from Oregon.
Well, they are, but it's a
It's
Canadian
a Canadian
whiskey.
style whiskey.
Yeah. Where and
And,
I
We
honestly
should be
that's
recording this.
one of my
whiskey talk.
favorite.
Oh, we are.
Well, I'm not even on.
Oh yeah, you are.
You're on the mic. It's picking up.
I pointed and I said, Jen, sit down and put your headphones on.
Oh, I feel like you should tell people.
here
we
we are.
record.
No, that's part.
Those
of
are the
That's
Easter
part
You
of
eggs.
the
gotta,
magic.
learn the way of the Neanderthals.
Yeah,
we just hit
whatever.
record when we get back here and start bullshitting. We're
Yeah.
back, by the
Everyone
way.
knows I like my whiskey.
The
What's the other one that everybody drinks in high school that's absolutely awful? That's a
R&R.
Jim
Canadian-
Beam.
No, it's a Canadian
Jack
whiskey.
Daniels.
It comes in the purple velvet.
yeah,
Oh,
Crown
God.
Royal.
That's the worst.
Oh, I like
See, you guys are
Crown.
making fun of my favorite.
I like Crown
like
with a
that?
cigar.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Have you ever done that maple Crown? Okay, so here's
Oh,
what
that's
you do.
No, I
phenomenal.
hate. Don't put sugar in whiskey. This
Yeah,
is one of my
no,
rants.
don't fuck it
This
up.
fucking peanut butter whiskey and cinnamon whiskey, Fireball bullshit. Whiskey tastes good when it
I'm on
tastes like
Team
whiskey.
Foulke with this, Mike. Sorry.
Don't put fucking shit in your whiskey
Yeah.
because whiskey is good. Whiskey
Yeah.
is a good flavor, just like coffee.
Go drink your fucking White
Don't
Claws.
put sugary
Don't
shit
fuck up my
in your.
whiskey.
Yeah, exactly. Don't put sugary shit in your coffee because coffee is a good flavor and you're ruining it. Whiskey is a good flavor unless it's Canadian whiskey, and then in which case, yeah, put all the peanut butter fucking syrup in it you want.
Being
But-
This is
attacked
why
by
we're
the
married.
folks
You
right
don't,
now.
like, you don't like Canadian whiskey either. All right. This is why we're married.
Fucking.
Hard to thrive being surrounded by haters, Jordan.
Sorry.
Look at us. over
Sorry.
there.
I feel so attacked.
Yeah, I'm triggered.
But
What were you going to say?
no, I mean,
need
I've
a
never honestly, I've never tried that peanut butter whiskey.
not bad.
But
It's
I've
pretty
heard.
banging in hot cocoa. Just
You
saying.
see, there's certain
Look
things
at that.
like that.
They're already bending the rules.
Well, there's a place for it. If you're on
cocoa.
if you're on a
So-
mountain and it's in a thermos, I'm not going to turn it down.
Okay,
Just
yeah.
saying.
As far as like I'm not a fan of what's that cinnamon bullshit?
Oh fuck
Fireball.
Fireball's
Fireball,
terrible.
Yeah, no.
right? I'm
Didn't
not.
everybody have a bad experience with Goldschlager in high
Yeah,
school?
right?
And so Fireball
No.
should have immediately been like, no, fuck no.
Fireball, I think, took the place of Jägermeister.
Zima's.
Jaeger.
Oh,
yes.
I think
yes.
Fireball
I know
took
what
the
you're
place
saying.
of
You don't hear about
Jaeger
Jaeger
from-
bombs anymore.
You guys
No.
You guys are pulling apart my young 20s.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? Like Fireball, like stole the steam
Stole
Yeah.
Jägermeister's thunder.
from like my generation because everyone was like, "Oh, fucking Fireball," and I was like, "I fucking hate cinnamon, like
Yeah.
shit like that."
To be
And
fair, I kind of wish we'd had Fireball and not Jaeger.
I disagree.
Do you? You like
I'm a
Jaeger
fan
better?
of Jaeger.
Ah.
I'm
I
a
like
throwback
Jaeger.
guy.
I mean,
I
I'm
was
not
just
a
gonna say-
fan. I drank a lot of it.
I
but
like the black
fan is
licorice
aggressive.
flavor. The problem is there was a point where this is in the Army and we were getting into bar fights every fucking weekend. And finally my buddy Casey goes, "Let's not drink Jen's laughing, yeah, because of all people to be the voice of reason, Casey is not the
Hey
guy.
guys, maybe it's the 10 Jaeger bombs we had in the parking lot.
Let's not drink Jaeger bombs.
Says, let's try not having any shots of Jägermeister tonight. And we're all like, whoo,
Were
a bunch,
you,
bunch
like,
of big dumb
cordial
meatheads like,
gentlemen?
yeah, that sounds okay.
Did you
And then
get
the
laid?
the next morning, no.
No, still
We,
no.
we had no skills when it came to the women, and we had that retarded haircut.
Yeah, it wasn't. I'll be the first to
There's
say.
zero chance. Like,
Yeah,
the
it
Ranger
wasn't-
Regiment
no.
used to mandate the high and tight, which
Greg's
is the
like,
worst
I want to hook you up
fucking-
with a Ranger buddy. I'm like, they all look really stupid.
Yep. I think they intentionally do that to keep the women away from us. But
Looks like a penis head with sideburns.
Yeah,
I'm
high
like,
and
they're
tight.
kind of emaciated. I don't think they eat.
oh no, that's after Ranger school. Like,
Teasing you.
yeah, typically when you're back in fighting shape, you get bulked up. But anyway, so we came back the next morning, and we're sitting around having breakfast, and we're like, no bar fight last night. Maybe that. Let's just not drink Jägermeister anymore. That's 22-year-old bro science right there.
Have you tried Baron Jaeger?
No.
Never
So
heard of it.
Jägermeister, the same company, they make one called Baron Jaeger, and it's a honey flavored one.
God damn
And
it.
just like Jaeger, but Jaeger, they put a bunch of like the kernel herbs and spices in it. It's not just the alcohol; it's a little bit of
It's a liqueur.
alchemy
Yeah.
with spices, herbs, and it's supposed to. I think that's why you drink a bunch of Jaeger. You're like, I feel this is a little beyond drunk.
I
you
can
know?
fight everyone.
Yeah, but it adds a little something. In that Baron Jaeger, it's a honey flavored liqueur, but it's got a different set, and it's kind of a different drunk as well.
I will say, when we were in Kentucky, we had this amazing honey whiskey, and they yeah, it was like honey harvested from their property,
But it was a very light.
It was a
wasn't
very
like
light.
sugar water.
Yeah, it wasn't sugary. It had like a nice honey
Yeah.
flavor. Like they didn't overdo it, and
Yeah.
that one was really good.
I was going to say it earlier, I don't know how many cigars you guys smoke. I like a couple cigars every year,
Twice a night.
but yeah, right.
Whoa.
Once this morning. But if you take a good
Lucky
cigar,
15 years, boys.
Still smoking cigars.
yeah, that's a cigar. That's a stogie, huh? Yeah.
That got derailed. That got real derailed.
Mike, why is your face so red? All right.
I got ground into the mat today.
Yeah. Well, we talked mountain climbing, and now let's talk about the attack in the garage. So I think it was about a year and a half ago, April of 22. Is that correct? 2022?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want you to tell the story. So start us with.
But hold on. Before I'd like you guys to lead in, because there was a situation in which you had a feeling about this individual.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can start with that.
yeah, start with that
for
one.
sure. For sure. So, beginning of 2020, I had done Orange Theory for a few years, and they're a fitness gym if you haven't heard of them. And I was like, I really want to coach. That would be a great part-time job for me while the kids are younger. What do I need to do that? So I had went through like the schooling, the training, whatever, passed the test. And I was like, okay, I can go coach now. This is awesome. And then boom, the pandemic hit, and it was like gyms are closed. So we
Not Electric North.
yeah, well, not our fucking garage. So we very quickly realized like this isn't going to work. People need fitness. So I had started training people in my garage, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to run classes out of my garage. I'm going to buy as much workout equipment as I can. I know how to write a good workout. And that community built. And eventually, like this guy, so I didn't know he was a neighbor.
Well, hang on. So you kind of glossed over. She did start running fitness classes out of the garage, and for about a year and a half there, while the gyms were closed, it was pretty successful.
Yeah, I'm not good at tooting my own horn, but it did go well. Yeah, we built a good community, and I felt really good about it. It was really fun, and I do miss it. But I think this neighbor, so I didn't know he was a neighbor at first. I think he kind of like took a shine to us, I guess. The first weird incident, and I didn't know he was a neighbor at this point. Toby, of course, was working. It was a Saturday, and I was running a class. And I came out, and he's like sitting on my lawn reading our newspaper.
And this
And
is a large man.
This is a
not a small.
250-pound, very big man. And Toby's not home. And I got class to start. And I'm like, his legs are crossed. He's not like in an aggressive stance. He's reading my fucking paper, which is weird, but like he's not like trying to be aggressive. And I don't know. I'm just going to ignore him. I feel like he wants a reaction. Like, is he trying to like do some TikTok video where I yell at him and tell him to get off my lawn, put down my paper? I don't know.
Yes. Oh, well.
Do we want to go there?
No.
You're thinking about it.
Yeah.
I know.
Well,
It's dicey.
You know what? It
you know
is,
what? Let's
it's part
go there.
of the story.
We can talk about
So
it.
the Black Lives Matter, riots and all the craziness around George Floyd had started, and this man is black.
Yeah. And so like part of me, because of everything that was happening in the media, was like, he's trying to get a reaction. Like, is he just taunting me, reading my paper? So I go fucking Karen on him, and he can like put up a video that I went Karen on him to put down my fucking paper. And I'm just like, I don't have time for this. He's not threatening me. He's fine. Enjoy the paper, dude. And so like everybody came in, I ran my class, and then they left, and he like calmly put the paper in my recycling and then like was going to walk away. And so, yeah, and I couldn't help it. I was like, good stuff in there? And he's like, oh yeah, lots of good stuff. I'm like, cool. And then he left, and I'm like, okay, that was fucking weird. And then I found out from one of my clients that he had tried to get in her car before I came out. So had I known that, I would have treated it a lot differently. So apparently he had like knocked on her window and was like, can I come in? And she was like, no, and then he like proceeded to read the paper in my front lawn. I didn't know that. So that was like weird. So in my mind, he wasn't a neighbor. He was just like some random like drunk guy on drugs, like whatever, like, he wandered into the neighborhood. I don't know. He's gone now. Probably never going to see him again. And then like a few months later, we're running a class at night. Again, Toby is gone. Why is Toby always gone? And then this guy comes trucking up the driveway and is like, oh, are we working out? Can I come in? And I'm like, no, you cannot come in. Like, whoa. And he just kind of looks at me pissed, and he's like, whatever. And he like stomps off. And I'm like, okay, holy shit. This is weird. So then I talked to Toby about it. I'm like, this is not normal. Like, what is going on? So between the two of us, we decide I'm going to have this can of bear mace in the garage in case this guy comes back. Like, what's wrong with him? Don't see him again for 6 months. I don't know about you guys, but 6 months, I'm not
forgotten.
Yeah, no, it's like over. It didn't even happen, right? Like, it's non-issue. 10 a.m., sunny Friday morning, class is over. I'm stretching in the garage. Two of my gals are lingering in the street by their car. They just happen to stay back and they're chatting. Otherwise, I would have been completely by myself. Yeah. And he comes up out of nowhere and is like in their face with this box. And I can't hear what he's saying, but he's in their face. My friend Lana.
So he's carrying a cardboard box.
He's carrying a cardboard box, and he's like kind of aggressively shoving it in their face and saying something, but I can't hear it. But I can see Lana trying to get away from him. So she tries to get into her car, and he blocks her, and he like puts his arm out and prevents her from getting in her car. So this is where shit's starting to get real. And she comes around the back of her car trying to get away from him, and he's chasing her. So I didn't even think about it. It was just like instinct. And I come running out of the garage, and I was like, you need to go home right now. Like, because this point we knew he was a neighbor, because he's been in the, it's like the third time this happened. I'm like, you need to get out of here. You need to go home right now. And then he just like turns on me, and it was like slow motion, like underwater. And he must have came at me pretty fast, but in my mind, it was like a weird slow motion crawl.
Matrix shit.
Yeah, it was some Matrix shit, right? But he must have ran at me. And I was like scrambling to get to the workbench because 6 months ago, is the bear mace even there? I don't even know, right? Do I even know how to use it? Like, your mind is so flooded. So I'm reaching back, trying to find the bear mace. Thank God it's still there. And I grab it, and he goes to grab my arm. And at this point, Lana has hopped in her car. She's laying on the horn. The other gal, Melita, is screaming, and Lana is just like honking her horn over and over and over again, which was a good thing to do because it got the neighbors' attention. That was smart. Yeah, that was super smart. So he like kind of gets distracted for just like a millisecond and looks out at Lana laying on her horn, like, what's all this noise about? Just enough time for me to like just douse him, right?
Right in the face.
Right in the face.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, is that enough? So I'm just like unloading. I'm like, I'm going to unload this entire can of bear spray on you. Like, until it's empty, basically.
Grizzly.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, well, he was kind of a grizzly.
He's a
like,
grizzly. He
to-
needs
like,
that bear mace.
honestly, even if I knew how to fight, unless I'm like a pro female fighter, I'm not taking down a 250-pound, very solid man.
Even then, myself, I'm a male, and I'd use
Like,
bear mace
yeah.
before grappling. It's
Totally.
the first line of defense. The
Yeah.
grappling's your last line of defense.
Well,
Well-
and not to mention, if you think you're going to grapple someone on a concrete garage floor, you're going to get fucked up. Even
Yeah.
if you,
Yeah.
even if
Thank
you
you.
are the better fighter.
bear
yeah.
mace sounds great.
So anyway, I unload the bear mace on him, and then he drops this mystery box, and he goes running towards the pond. So we have a pond across the street from us, and he just
Jump
runs.
in it?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Hang
he
on.
jumps into the
my
pond.
favorite detail, you did follow him down the driveway, continuing to
No,
spread
I
the crowd.
emptied that fucking can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
I was. I
Chased
mean,
him
like,
off.
oh yeah, no, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I was not convinced that he wasn't coming back. So he runs off, and then our neighbors, God bless them. So then out comes Derek and Tim. Derek works from home because this is like still kind of pandemic-y times.
Yep.
Thank God. And so Derek comes out with a baseball bat. Tim has a golf club, and like they're like ready to throw down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, sweet. You know,
About to
and-
take him to the back nine.
yeah, totally. So they go out that way, and I like call 911, and I'm like kind of shook, and I'm like, ladies in the house now, like lock the door. And then I called you, and it was so funny. This conversation is priceless because I called Toby at work, and I'm like, so just bear mace some guy in the garage. It's fine. You don't need to come home. Everything's good.
So we have a rule that you don't call me at work unless it's important because I'm going to answer. So don't call me to say, hey, see how your day is going. Call me only if it's important, and I'll know that if the phone rings and it's her, I need to answer.
Yeah.
So I answer the phone, and she leads with, hey, I don't want you to panic. The sheriffs are here, and I'm okay. And I was like, okay, so I guess I better get back. And I was like, wait a minute. What's going on? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm like, everything's fine. Threat has been neutralized. Go back to work, honey. And he's like, wait a minute. Fuck that. I'm coming home. And it was so funny because when he finally did get home, I was so happy to have him home. But at the time, I was like, there's no more problem. The problem is gone. You can just work. Everything's fine. Because I still hadn't like came down from the adrenaline, I don't think.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he goes over to the pond. The sheriffs are like coming. So I'm talking to them on the phone. I'm telling them what happened. The neighbors are now out. Everybody's on guard. One of our neighbors says, I'm going to go down to the house that I think he lives at. I'm going to go see if anyone's home.
And at this point, the sheriffs had not arrived.
At this point, the sheriffs were coming in full SWAT because he had a record. We didn't know this, but they, I think, knew the
But
situation.
I think it took, what was their response time on this? 10 minutes? 12 minutes? Because,
I don't know. I don't trust
Okay.
my sense of time in this
Yeah.
in this situation.
well, go ahead. You finish, because
Yeah.
I have some comments
And then we'll
on
do
that.
the follow-up questions. But so she goes to go check out the house, right? So unbeknownst to us, he had almost killed his own mother. So he had hit his mom repeatedly with a blunt force object in the head before coming down to our house. So had we known that before he came down, we might have handled the situation very differently. And I probably would have
Oh, it
been
puts a whole different light.
I would have
Yeah.
probably been more afraid.
Yeah.
You know, like I think because I had no fear. I was just yelling at him, and I was just like,
Yep.
I don't even know. But I'm sure had I like had the full context, like it probably would have changed the reaction. So
Yep.
she goes down there, she screams right when the sheriffs are coming into the neighborhood. So then things kind of go crazy. So she's yelling at one sheriff, like, you need to get in here now. The other sheriffs are going after him. Our neighbors are like just following him because now he's left the pond. He's on the move. He could go into someone else's garage. So
Did
they're
he
like,
get in the pond?
yeah, he did.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was rinsing
Gotta
his
wash
face
that
off.
mace off.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's,
That is a nasty ass pond.
oh, yeah.
Oh.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, mace is worse.
I think
though.
probably
Yeah.
you got to do what you got to do. So then he's on the move now. So then our two neighbors next door, they're following him, and they're not like attacking him. They're not going after him, but they're like, we're just going to watch him and make sure he doesn't go into someone else's garage. Like there's kids in the neighborhood, right? So they stay with him. And so then part of the sheriff goes to handle the situation with the mom. And like her body was cold. Like she almost died.
Let me interject here a few things. So when the 911 call came in, and this is me, after everything happened, talking to one of the detectives that came to the house. And according to him, the 911 call came in, and what was transmitted from the dispatcher to the deputies was there's been a disturbance in a neighborhood. A guy was in somebody's garage, and now he's roaming around the neighborhood. So to them, that's kind of a low priority call.
Yeah.
And so they
Because
came.
we didn't know.
Yeah, I think their response time, I think it was around 12 or 15 minutes.
It was still pretty.
before-
I mean, I
Oh, no,
have no
I'm
complaints.
I'm not blaming them. What
Yeah.
I'm saying is that, one of the morals of the story we'll get into here is you need to be ready to, do for yourself, because that attack, had he got a hold of you, that would have been over in 40 seconds.
He could have
tops.
killed me.
And
Yeah.
if the deputy is 8 minutes out at best, I mean, that's best case
Well, I mean, how many
response times.
The reality is like how many fights besides the UFC last more than 8 minutes?
Never. Oh, no. A street
what I
fight
mean?
doesn't last longer than
Yeah.
a minute and a half.
No.
So they had got sort of this low priority alert. So a couple of cars had come cruising into the neighborhood, and it was when this other neighbor, after finding the mother's body, came running out into the street, sort of in despair, and said, "I need help in here right now." They went in.
Everything escalated from there.
And so
Yeah.
the mother, thank God, survived, and she's okay. However, she was in such bad shape that they closed our entire street for 5 days and investigated it as a murder, because they did not, and she was transported as expectant, which means they expect her to die.
It was a crazy crime scene in our neighborhood. That was insane.
Yeah, the fact that she pulled through is a miracle, for all intents and purposes, this guy had just killed his own mom, and now he's in our garage coming after Jennifer.
Yeah. So he had he was like on the move. And so I'm like going to stay in the house. I'm not coming out anymore, obviously. Yeah. But our neighbors next door are following him just to make sure, and so they're sticking with him. Good on them. 100%. Like that's what real men do. Like, fuck yeah. Go get a bat and a golf club, and please make sure he doesn't like go after, a kid or someone else. Like scary. And the cops, to take him down, had to shoot him with like rubber bullets. He did not go.
3 police officers.
He did not
to get
go
him cuffed.
easily. Like they had to. It was pretty bad. Like he didn't go easily. So, but yeah, and it was kind of crazy because we didn't know what had happened with his mom. We didn't really have a lot of answers. And I remember I went up hiking. I went with some friends up to Artist Point. I'm like, I just got to get out of my neighborhood. Like the whole street's shut down. I don't know what's going on. Like I just got to get out of here. This is crazy. And so one of the sheriffs called me on my way back from Artist Point, and for some reason was feeling real honest and was like, I got to tell you, that's the worst crime scene I've ever seen in my entire career. Like, cool. Yeah. He's like, that's the bloodiest, worst crime scene I've ever seen in my entire life. And so that's his own mother. So then it's like, whoa. So then the wheels are turning. Like, what could have happened to Lana? What could have happened to me? Like he did that to his own mom. So.
Well, it just kind of goes to show, like, you guys had you felt a need to have a reaction plan put in place, and you executed it exactly how you needed to.
Yeah,
and that's
thank God.
super important for people to do.
Another key point is that we also spent it wasn't even enough, but we spent a few minutes just looking at the little safety switch you got to pop off, and we didn't practice it because we didn't want to pull the pin out and then accidentally fire
is this shit
thing.
going off? Yeah, like
exactly.
Mason yourself.
But the new rule is take the safety off. So even when I was at the farm a few weekends ago and I'm talking to your mom, I'm like, take the fucking safety off. I'm like, if you accidentally mace someone, that's fine.
Yeah.
But the half a few seconds to get when you don't remember how to take the safety off the bear mace and someone's attacking you, just take the fucking safety off. It's not a gun.
A Glock doesn't have a safety.
Yeah, well, there you go.
You know what I'm saying?
But, but I mean, honestly, ours still had the safety on it. So I had to figure out when you're in that kind of adrenaline, how to flick this. How to get that orange piece off and flick it off. And I lost a few seconds. So I'm like, if you got bear mace for protection and it's not against bears, like just take the safety off.
Yeah, well, thank God your friends kind of stuck around, or
I would have been totally by myself. When I replay it in my head too, I'm like, what if I've been getting the mail?
Oh yeah.
He could have wandered down.
That's my paper.
Yeah, no. If I was just getting the mail, I couldn't have got my bear mace. He would have caught me.
Yeah,
our mailbox is away from our house, and like if he came down then, I just happened to be in the garage.
Oh, you were inside the
I
garage.
happened to be stretching in the garage.
Okay.
And my friends happened to be right out front.
Yeah.
So it was just, and like the timing of that. And then also, his mom would have died. Had we not been out there working out, his mom would have been dead.
That's
no
true.
one would have found her.
If he would have just gone wandering around the neighborhood for a half
so
hour.
I feel like
and who knows if he would have gone back and just been like, a couple last shots.
Well,
or
I
or
feel
just never left.
Yeah.
I feel like it was meant to be, because she would have 100% died had
Yeah.
he not came down and messed with us. Like,
It's
and like
fucking
just
wild.
just to be clear, like I'm almost 100% positive he's schizophrenic. Like, this isn't just some like.
sure.
Well, I'm just saying this isn't just like some evil.
Yeah, there's the mental illness.
Yeah, there's
there for
mental
sure.
illness there for sure, which doesn't make it any better. But
No.
like, yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
So the point, I guess, of all that is like, be prepared.
Yeah.
You know?
And
Be
one of the
prepared,
things
but
with,
also recognize, like, you had seen this guy around your neighborhood, and how
Yeah.
many other couples might have been like, "Hey, honey, this guy's kind of crazy," and the husband goes, "Well,
He's fine.
just keep your
He's
guard
just
up.
a little different.
Just be
It's
aware,
okay.
keep your guard up." But you guys physically enacted like, "Hey, in case something really goes down,
Yeah.
here's your weapon. Here's what you
Yeah.
do."
Have
If
a
you-
plan.
If you guys might have been like so many normal people, just keep an eye on them.
Yep.
Well, keeping an eye on them might
Because
mean
guess what?
you're
When that
fucked.
adrenaline happened, and
Yeah.
I had seconds to react. I was like, "How fast can I get to the workbench?" I freaking hope the bear mace is still there, because it had been 6 months. So
Yeah.
It's wild.
it was just like everything,
Such a good reaction on your
everything
part.
lined
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you hope that you're going to react the right way, because they say it's not just fight or flight. You know, it's freeze too.
Yeah,
And I've
yeah.
seen people freeze, and like that would not have been good.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
yeah. Yeah, good on you for not freezing, because a lot of people would have just stood there and waited to.
yeah.
Well, and
"Oh,
then
God,
who
please
knows?
don't let this happen
Who
to me."
knows what your neighbor or your clients would have done? Would they have frozen up too? If
Well,
all
and
of a sudden he got
I'm
a hold of
grateful
you
it was
and-
Lana, because Lana was in there making some noise. So I'm grateful. Like, those two would not have left me or ran away. So yeah, I'm grateful they were there for support too.
Well, probably one of the more important questions of this whole thing is what was in that box.
Okay, so
In the box.
honestly, like, I know, like, you think it's gonna be a severed finger. It's not actually less creepy. So it was his mom's glasses splattered with blood and like some weird supplements that he had made. Like,
Alpha brain.
it's not actually it's not actually like less creepy than what you're thinking.
No,
So,
that's I honestly I thought it was gonna be like
no,
some
it was like
fucking-
splattered with his mom's blood
That's
and her,
worse.
Holy
and, yeah,
shit.
and her glasses. And so
like
then he
my memento.
yeah, and so then not really. He had went up to my friends, and I didn't know this till afterwards because I couldn't hear them. But how this started was he ran up to them in the street and was like, "You want to buy some sups? Want to buy some sups?" And they're like, "No, get away from me, no."
He's like, these bitches like to work out.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, no, they weren't drugs. I like, honestly, like, I mean, it's
They
sad.
weren't they in prescription pill bottles?
Well, like, we laugh, but like, he, I think, was enamored with what we were doing there, and so that was why he was down there. Like, he obviously had a fair amount of muscle on him. So hello,
Hey,
4th of July.
we are recording this on the 4th of July, so the festivities may be starting early.
Incoming ordinance.
All right.
But like
I thought something downstairs.
he liked
though.
working out, you know, and
Sean
so
Baker's
I think
down there wrestling.
he like wanted to join us, you know?
Yeah.
So that was part of his fixation with my house, with my garage. Like, he wanted, I think, like, some weird part of his brain wanted to be a part of what we were doing.
Got it.
Wanted to join you or saw pretty
So-
ladies?
I think
probably
wanted
both.
to join
Probably
us.
both.
both.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, you know, we kind of talk about being an entrepreneur and like you kind of shut him down.
yeah, I know. Golden opportunity,
That's
Jordan.
failure to launch.
I know. Mid workout, some giant ass guy is trekking up to my garage like he owns the place.
You want
We
some
working
sups?
out. You want some sups?
Yeah.
Sounds like
I know.
discrimination to me.
Oh, Jesus.
These things will make you a beast in the octagon. Come see what I did at my house.
Yeah, check it out.
No, honestly.
See the glasses?
Yeah. I mean, I can't talk about this with not saying that it's a sad story, because
Yeah,
I
it is.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
is, of
realize,
course.
but I had met him when he was a teenager, and I didn't know that until talking to some of his family, but like, he was a nice kid. Schizophrenia is a real bitch, you know, like
kind of
he
caught up with
yeah,
him.
he was
or-
a nice kid, and schizophrenia hits later in life, and like it is a sad story, you know. I mean,
Is it like mid 20s?
doesn't mean he's not dangerous, and it doesn't mean that what he did's okay.
I'm
but
out of the
like,
danger zone.
You're a suspect.
it's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as sad as it is, it's like, but that's a reality. There's
Yeah,
dangerous
no shit.
people out there,
Yeah.
and as sad as it is,
Yeah.
what do I do? Feel worse for them or be prepared for that moment? A sad motherfucker comes up.
Well,
on
and so
me.
his family wants him out. We want him in, you know,
Yeah.
and we all live on the same street still. Talk about
They
fucking
want him
awkward.
out?
They bailed him out.
And
He's back
and-
in,
and the
but
county
they
let
did
him
bail
out.
him out, and the county let him out.
And here's a little background: is he had a active warrant in King County, the next county over, for a home invasion where he had been shot. And so he has
not in the right fucking spot.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I don't even think they had him in jail in Snohomish County, and I don't think they transported him to King County to go face charges.
No, they didn't care.
They
Yeah, but the
refused
state
to.
does nothing
Exactly.
for mental
Washington
health.
State.
What do you do for mental health? We don't do anything.
Yeah, they don't do anything.
We give you a drug encampment to live in and get more fucked up instead of really offering true guidance and counseling and rehabilitation.
Yeah.
Good luck. And we're supposed to be the blue compassionate state.
Exactly.
Go fuck yourself.
Well, and it's so sneaky too, because I feel like he might be okay if he's medicated, but you're taking on this.
Not worth it.
No, it's not. You're taking on this risk where if he's not, we now know what he's capable of. And how do you take on that risk? So when they bailed him out, they brought him down to Texas to live with his aunt and her freaking kids. And
sounds worse.
Yeah, no, you're going to take on that liability. You're going to put your children at risk. You're
Love
take
makes
that
you do
on.
some weird shit, though.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm sorry. I don't know the right answer, but I don't think that's it. I mean, I wouldn't put my kids at that kind
You
of
almost wonder if the aunt knew the full story.
Oh, they
You
did.
know?
Because
they did.
she sat in the
Yeah,
court
no,
hearing.
they did.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
they did.
Well,
They're just blinded by it.
you know,
I actually talked to the judge, and I was like, I think this family needs protection from themselves.
Yeah.
Because he now and Toby's next to me, and he's like, you need to say history of extreme violence, because they're puffing him up into what he used to be, and now it's no, now he has this history of extreme violence.
Yeah, it's a Dr. Jekyll and
this is
Mr.
what
Hyde
he's capable
situation
of.
where-
This could happen again, and if it does, and you bring him in a house with your kids, it's your fault.
Yeah.
And if it happens to someone on your street and you bring him there, it's your fault. This is what he can do.
Yep.
He did it to his own mom.
Yeah. Yeah. And apparently he's, like I said, he's got a warrant for breaking and entering in another county. So it wasn't his first time going wandering and getting off the reservation,
How fucking wild is it what you can get away with? When I was a kid, I was raised by parents that were strict as shit. And not super strict, but they were just this is right, this is wrong, you do this and you're fucked. And that's what I've thought my whole life. And then I hear about stuff like this where this guy goes and does this, gets bailed out. Mm-hmm. He has a breaking and entering warrant.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to deal with it. I feel like if I just paid a fucking toll, and they were like, if you don't pay this, we're gonna take away your ability to get your.
I stopped and talked to an
tabs.
Amazon driver outside the company not the company we work for directly, but outside our customer's campus, and he was raging in his van because he had been given a parking ticket while delivering to this business. I was like, dude, did the meter maid come by and give you a fucking parking ticket? And he's like, these motherfuckers. And I was like, man, sorry, man. I just kept on walking. But, I don't know what an Amazon delivery driver makes, probably $25 or $30 an hour in a city where that doesn't buy anything. And so here you have this parking enforcement officer driving around. I would assume it's a $120 ticket. And what does that do to that guy's life?
I got one.
When your finances are already that tight, gas is going up, food is going up. Jay Inslee is just raping the state with various gas taxes, and he wants to put in a mileage tax and a carbon tax. And so here's this bullshit fucking Seattle Police Department meter maid putting around in a fucking propane golf cart writing parking tickets for an Amazon driver who's delivering a package to someone who's in a hospital. And it's dude, what the fuck is this city doing? What the fuck is this state doing? This is so fucking backwards.
They're bleeding their citizens.
It's exactly what they're doing.
If you wanted, you could fine that homeless guy for loitering or trespassing.
But he doesn't have a checking account. And this is a
Exactly.
point. I
So he
think we
doesn't have
brought this
money.
up on an early episode. Laws only apply if you have a checking account.
Yeah.
And if you don't, it's like a free-for-all. Nobody cares. The cops don't do anything. The state doesn't try to enforce anything. But they look at someone like us who has money, and it's oh, we can get you. And it's happening at a federal level,
Yeah,
too.
well, why do you think they want that digital currency?
Yeah.
So they can just go, oh, mine.
Yeah.
It's not even an option.
Yeah.
You go, nope, you're just not going to get it. Here you go.
That's right. Yeah, shut that account down. Thanks, boys. We'll collect interest on this while you're on probation.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
That's why barter makes sense.
Yes, it does.
100%.
Yep.
Gold and silver,
Even tobacco.
Tobacco, coffee, whiskey,
Yeah,
marijuana.
exactly. You name it.
Salt, pepper.
My body.
Oh, shit.
Whoa.
I didn't get much. I'm pretty hungry. I'm going to be honest.
I got half a warm beer.
Jordan, what kind of meat are we eating at the river, most importantly?
Oh, honestly, I think I'll do some ribs. Some of those pork ribs.
Nice.
Short ribs, St. Louis cut.
Yeah.
What up?
All right, to rein it back in, a couple of good lessons learned here, especially because of training Northwest and teaching the firearms classes. People love to approach me and say, hey, man, I want to get a gun for home defense. What should I get? And I always respond with bear spray. And they look kind of confused and crestfallen because they wanted me to tell them to go get an AR-15 or a fucking machine gun or whatever. And the reality is, if you're not taking the time to train like regularly, and you pull out a firearm in the middle of the night or even in the middle of the day in a highly charged situation where you're full of adrenaline and excitement and fear and cortisol, it's like this shitty cocktail that makes you do wild, crazy shit. And you just start blasting rounds. It's hard enough. Like when folks come out to the range to train, you find out how hard it is to hit a target on a flat range when you're standing still and calm at 7 meters with a 9mm pistol. It's not that easy. So add that cocktail of hormones in there and all the stress and emotion in there. Maybe it's dark. Maybe you just woke up from a dead sleep. You're probably going to miss. And when you miss, where does that bullet go? Because sheetrock and 2x4s don't stop a 9mm bullet.
No, they do not.
You have kids in the house. You have neighbors next door. You don't know where that bullet's going to land. You can go fucking hog wild with some bear spray, and everybody's going to be alive tomorrow.
Season
And if
them
you-
up real nice.
If you exactly. If you accidentally bear spray your kid, I might do it on purpose one of these days.
Oh, boy.
Oh, sorry.
I thought we were being broken into. Sorry, buddy.
Dad, I was laying in my bed.
Kicking his door.
So here's a funny story.
Love you, boys.
Yeah. When Nathan was like 5, probably, I remember waking out, like dragging myself. I was in like this tunnel. I was dead asleep. And I remember knowing that someone was rustling around downstairs in our house. And it was like I was at the end of a long, dark tunnel, and I had to drag myself all the way out of it and come out of this dead sleep. And I was like,
Aggressively, too.
yes. And I'm like, oh my God, somebody's downstairs. And because I was in that like ranger kill mode, I didn't even think to go to the little, because I don't leave guns unlocked. So I have a little, safe on top of my dresser with a pistol in it. And I just bypassed that bitch and went storming down the stairs, and I could see the kitchen light was on, and I could see a shadow and hear somebody rustling around in there. And I was like, I'm going to cut the angle on that door and come through there like I'm back playing free safety, filling C-gap, and this motherfucker's getting blown up, and then it's on.
Yeah.
And so
You can't tell the shadow's 4 foot tall.
well, the shadows are weird.
Yeah,
lengths,
that's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And so I come busting around that corner and just go, "Ah!" And here's Nathan, and he falls down and starts crying. Ah! I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. What are you doing? He's like, I just wanted some milk.
He's always, he was always such an early riser.
This is at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
This wasn't. He was
This
up
middle of the
he,
night.
he was up in the middle of the night.
Okay.
Wanted a glass of milk,
Okay.
and I was like, oh man, I'm so
About
sorry.
to light him up.
Now you got Taco Cat attacking you in the middle of the night.
Yeah. After all the shit I've talked about, not liking cats.
We got a cat.
You like
y'all.
cats? You drink lattes?
I like
What's
a cat.
next
Yeah.
for you,
I like
buddy?
a cat.
Yeah, we like one
And
cat.
it's-
How long till our next Broadway show review?
I know, right?
Yeah, no shit.
I've always liked the barn cats at the farm.
Yeah.
But I've always said cats belong outside in the barn, killing mice the way they do.
Yeah.
And we've had a few that were friendly and would come in the house during the day. But as long as they had that, like, what's funny is Taco Cat has the killer instinct. When the sun hits that, when the sun. which,
Taco
by the way,
Cat
the
spelled
golden- the
backwards,
golden
still
hour.
Taco
Yeah,
Cat.
it's a palindrome.
Yeah.
Go ahead, write it out.
Taco Cat backwards, still Taco
palindrome.
Cat.
Yeah.
Figure it out, Jordan.
Race car.
Get
I
there.
get it. I'm not an idiot, guys.
Okay.
I'm dyslexic. There's a difference.
Right. So, yeah.
Well, now you just
And like
making
some
us
people
feel
do this
mean.
weird shit where it's like they make their cat stay in the house, and the poor cat sits on the windowsill and stares out the window at real life passing it by, and
Yeah.
fuck that shit. And so Taco Cat, when the sun's dipping low, he gets that little, turns into a fuzzy little demon,
If
and he
you-
wants to go out and kill. So
if-
I'm like, you know what? I'm cool with a cat that wants to live like a cat.
If
Yeah.
Sergeant Foulke lets him sleep on his chest.
That's during the day.
Let's be real.
And that's only because he has killer instincts.
You love the cat.
That's not witching hours.
You love the cat.
Those are daylight hours.
I've
That's
seen
3
it.
o'clock is nap time.
I've
And
seen
if the
it.
cat wants to join in on nap time, it's a free country.
I think it was more like, "Where's Taco Cat? I want to take a nap with him on my chest."
Where's my fuzzy mitten buddy? Papa wants to sleep.
Fuck you guys.
It was pretty funny though. So we found the cat, and I don't like cats at all. And like, I'm with Toby on this one, but I love this cat. It just comes up to me and it's like meowing, and it follows us home. Nathan's like, "Can we keep the cat?" I'm like, "No, we can't keep the cat. Like, whose cat even is this?" And it's like attacking dragonflies, and it's doing all kinds of cute, adorable shit.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, "I think it's hungry. I'm going to feed it some tuna." And then I'm like, "I think I'm going to feed it some cheese." And now it's our cat. Yeah. And it was pretty funny because Nathan's like, "Let's call it Puss, like Puss in Boots."
Hell yeah.
And I'm like, "How about we call it Taco?" And then the neighbor kid's like, "Can we call it Pussy Taco?" No, we
guys
can't
just have
call
a
it Pussy Taco.
Euphemisms for vagina for your cat.
Yeah, no, we cannot call it.
Where's the
pussy.
clam hammer?
We
I haven't
can't-
seen him around. Get him in here.
We can't call it Pussy. We can't call it Pussy Taco, Camden. No, we can't. But now,
There's little beef curtains.
but even now, he's like, "Where's Pussy Taco?" No, Camden.
Damn it, Camden.
His name is Taco.
I think my neighbors have an OnlyFans account. The things I hear come out of their house is wild. Pussy taco.
We're yelling at all manners of night.
Yeah, that's right. Out yelling for him.
Where
in the
is
dark.
he? Where is he?
Come back.
Taco.
Pussy taco.
Taco.
It is a good form of organic pesticide, though. I mean,
Oh,
gets
yeah?
rid of mice, moles, everything. Having a
that's
cat
true.
that's indoor, outdoor.
Everything.
Yep.
It
What
does
do-
kill the flies when they come in, which I
yeah.
appreciate.
What do they say? Like outdoor cats account for like,
2 billion birds
deaths
in North America
year.
alone.
Really impressive.
Just
Oh,
house
yeah.
cats, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
house-
actually very
house
impressive.
cats kill more more life are taken by
Yeah.
house
Really?
cats. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
they're murderers.
Okay.
Cats are. He is a fuzzy
No,
little
I do-
demon.
I do
They're
like
fuzzy
him.
little fucking
He
demons.
has grown on me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but he's gonna shed, and then I'm gonna hate him.
Yeah.
That's why saber-toothed
now, I like
cats
him.
were a problem.
Yeah,
Think
right.
like 10,000 years ago, like your cat, but like 10 feet
Bigger.
long.
I had that thought.
would-
Just like we always say, we're really lucky that we're bigger than chickens. 'Cause
Yeah.
we
They'd
are.
rip you
we
apart.
are. Like,
yeah.
here's this cat sleeping and purring on my chest. But cats aren't like dogs, where it's like, hey, this is my person. If I were smaller than that cat, he'd fucking claw me and eat me like immediately.
Well, no. If you die, they'll eat,
Eat
you.
you.
Yeah,
Like if they I think there's
Aw,
like.
you had to go there.
yeah.
I mean, sorry. My
Not
bad.
even
I
a
mean,
cat.
you're not wrong.
If there was
Yeah.
a bumblebee the size
Imagine
of a
if that guy,
Volkswagen.
if that
So
guy's
you're
mom
saying
had a
Pussy
cat.
Taco's gonna eat me if I die?
Yeah,
That's,
Yeah.
he's gonna soften. He's gonna start in the soft spots.
All right, I have different feelings about the cat.
They're just like lizards. They have no feelings toward you.
I think he likes us.
Some do.
That's
My cat likes
the
me.
majestic cat. You know.
I think he appreciates the food and the warm, dry place to sleep.
I actually kind of dig him because he's just like, I could take it or leave it. And I'm like, fucker, I could take it or leave it too.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, exactly.
You do you.
yeah, see, that's a beautiful relationship.
It's a beautiful relationship. I'm like, you want to come inside? Great. You want to go
Hey, you
outside?
cute little
Great.
fuck, come here.
Yeah.
Let me pet
you
you
want
for a
me to
little
rub
bit.
your stomach?
Look at him.
Awesome. Now go eat some cheese. Bye.
I met him the other day. He was a nice little kitty.
Yeah,
Did you?
right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
no,
right,
Jordan
you were- yeah.
instantly was charmed by
Was he?
Pussy Taco.
Yeah, I couldn't help it. Never haven't been. Never haven't.
Never haven't been.
Cats are like strippers. You're like, I think they really like me, and then it just walks away. Motherfucker!
You were just here for the fucking shredded cheese, you son of a bitch.
They take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a good name for one too. Chastity.
Holy shit.
Carmen.
All right. I think that was the perfect note to
Yeah,
end
we
it
should
on.
probably end it on that. Cats are strippers.
Yeah.
So, Jen, where can people find? Do you want to put out your Instagram, or do you want that kept quiet? Or
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, it's Foulke at 15.
okay,
And yeah, you can follow my little adventures, my little
she puts
climbing
up some pretty
adventures.
incredible pictures from.
We try to capture
mountaineering
the beauty
and,
and we try to post it. Doesn't do it justice, but
Never does.
I try to hike with people who make me look cooler than I actually am. So some of them are pretty fun.
Yep. And for the three handsome men in the room, if you guys are enjoying the show, please go to Spotify or the Apple app and leave us a review. Once again, it helps us get in front of more listeners. Yeah, like I said, the hardest part of this is just getting the show in front of people.
Yep.
You guys got anything else?
No, hit us up on Instagram.
That's right. Enlightened Neanderthals on all one word on Instagram. All right. Send those dick pics to Jordan. Bye, everybody.